get you out of my mind. The way you fuss and fight, the way you say goodnight. You used to be thrills, but now I get chills. And baby, that just ain't right. You better watch yourself.
To the Parkersburg Big Reds and their fans, Friday night football at Stadium Field is more than a game. It's an event steeped in tradition. By the turn of the century, young men donned the red and white to represent Parkersburg High School like they still do today. Records date back as far as 1906, chronicling each touchdown and victory. The Wood County School is the winningest program in the history of West Virginia and ranks among one of the nation's best at number 7 on the all-time winning list. This is a program built on a strong foundation. Coaches and players alike aren't expected to simply perform well, but they're required to produce victories. Over the past 4 seasons, the Big Reds have averaged more than 10 wins a year. Last year, they finished 12-1 after losing their semifinal matchup against Nitro. Gone from that squad were a legion of 3-year starters, including 5 first-team All-Staters. For most, that would have spelled a rebuilding season.
In our notebook, we have, right in the beginning of it, we have a philosophy section, and then we have an expectations. And expectations are that we expect to win. One statement, we expect to win, and I don't ever want anything other than that to ever cross their mind. Do we lose? Yes. But we never expect it to happen. When it happens, I want us to be in total shock. We tell our players, you're part of a winning tradition. You have the responsibility to carry on that tradition. We view that the same as coaches. We're part of a tradition, and it's our responsibility. We view this as Parkersburg's teams. We don't view this as Marshall Burdett's team or anybody else's team. It's Parkersburg's team, and we're kind of caretakers for this team, and we want to represent our city well. We performed a little bit better than I thought we would. They lay that all in the hands of the assistant coaches and the players. They really worked hard in August. And once again, it goes back to tradition. These kids felt that they had a responsibility to do something that the other teams before them had done. And they didn't want to come out and be the team that sunk back into another level.
In fact, entering into week number 8, Parkersburg has a perfect 7-0 mark. Offensively, the Big Reds average almost 340 yards a game, while holding the opposition to under 190 yards. And leading the way for Coach Burdett and his Big Reds is the punishing duo of number 47, Scott Babe Davis, and number 41, Al Hammell. Perhaps the most formidable and feared 1-2 punch in all of West Virginia. The 6'3", 270-pound Davis brings a load on both sides of the ball, whether at linebacker or fullback. Babe, as the Big Red fans affectionately call him, has already verbally committed to Penn State.
Well, when my brother played for PHS, they gave him the nickname Hog. So my freshman year, they knew I was coming up to the high school, and they wanted to give me a nickname that was similar to his. So they took the pig out of the movie named Babe, and they just kind of stuck from my freshman year up. It doesn't really bother me. I just kind of thought it was a nickname from my brother. Never really thought about the pig, except my family for Christmas and birthdays and everything. I get all kinds of Babe memorabilia and stuff, so it's kind of stuck, and it's all right by me, though.
Scott broke onto the scene as a sophomore, had over 100 yards in his first game. Even when he doesn't rush for 100 yards, he's as good a blocker as I've ever been around. You know, Scott's going on to another level. He's going to play for Penn State. He will be a guard for them, a center, a tight end. He can be a fullback if they want a big blocking fullback. He can be a Mike linebacker, defensive end, nose tackle. He is capable of being so many things because he's very athletic. He's just not some 275-pound person who can just do one thing. He has great feet, great motor skills. He can play a lot of positions. On this level, I've yet to see anyone block him, and I've yet to see anyone that he can't block. He is one of those kids also that in big games, such as Capital, such as Huntington, he plays better against the best people, which obviously I like to see.
What had college recruiters and scouting magazines touting the Babe as West Virginia's finest wasn't just his size and strength, but the added combination of speed. He's been clocked at a 4.7 40. From an early age, football aficionados around Parkersburg knew the Babe was a different breed. Steve Doherty has been covering the Big Reds as their play-by-play man on a local radio station for the past several seasons, and remembers quite vividly his first Babe encounter.
Scott, the first time I saw Scott was in a swimming pool in the summertime. And I looked out into this pool in Vienna, and I said, who is that man out there throwing? He was throwing other ninth graders around. He was just having fun throwing. And I said, who is that man out there throwing those kids around the pool? And the manager of the pool, who happens to be the basketball coach here, said, well, that's Babe Davis. That's Scott Davis. That's Hog Davis's brother. And I said, he's got to play football. He said, oh, yeah, he's a pretty good football player. And so he came to Parkersburg High School the next year as a sophomore, and I watched him play. And the thing that I've seen over the last 3 years now that he's playing football probably is he was a man, and he was in a man's body back in the 9th grade and 10th grade. But now he's matured into that man's body, I think, especially the last 3-4 weeks. Scott Davis has played his best football, playing his best football in high school right now, and it's getting better each week.
The other half of the Bruise brother tandem is Al Hammell, another 3-year starter for Coach Burdett. Though operating in the shadows of the Babe, both figuratively and literally, Hammell has put up some big numbers. Playing alongside Davis at the linebacker slot, the 6'2", 210-pounder leads the team in tackles with 68, and also has 3 defensive touchdowns to his credit, including this one against Russell, Kentucky. Offensively, Hammell also heads the list with 728 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Not too bad for someone who called tight end home until this season.
At first, it was a little hard to learn the backfield steps, you know, the going in motion and what side to get the handoff on and where the holes were. That was pretty hard to learn at first. Going from, you know, tight end, all you do is block all the time and run a pass route every once in a while. So that was the hardest part. And then just being in the game and getting a feel for where the holes were going to hit, and, you know, just the more carries I get, you know, the more games I've played, it's gotten easier to see, you know, what's going on, and I think I've gotten better each game at reading the holes. I don't know, I just go out and play. I don't think I show a lot of emotion. It's more just right down the middle. I don't get real excited or real down on myself. I try to just stay in the middle so it doesn't affect my play. I'm pretty much just consistency.
Al is any coach's dream. He came in here as a sophomore, started tight end, played, time we got to the playoffs that year, Al, in the playoffs his sophomore year, is the only player we had who never left the field. He was on every kicking game, offense and defense. And I tell you, it shows how bad we were with awareness. We didn't even realize that until we were watching the video, grading it out, and this kid, we realized, was the only kid that we had that never left the football field. Just a great linebacker. As far as instinctiveness, maybe as good as I've ever been around. Just a great, great player. Offensively, we were concerned about moving from tight end because he did such a great job for 2 years blocking at tight end. Obviously doesn't catch much in our system. But when he did catch the ball, he ran real well. And we thought, we've got to get this kid with the ball in his hands more often. And so we lost a great tailback, Nick Swisher, who was an All-Stater last year. And we said, let's give it a shot. So we moved him there. The first couple of ball games, it looked like his first time in the backfield. But he's a tough kid, got better than average speed, great hands, and every game he has learned and has gotten better. And now, I think he's a pretty good running back. I really do. And I think that you ask our opponents, they would agree. I know a couple of coaches I've talked to after the game, and they said that we were very well aware of the Davis kid, but we had no idea that the Hammell kid was this good. We weren't prepared for something like that.